Get out of my office. Are you stupid? What I said just now is something that sadly many Nigerian students have heard over and over from their lecturers. In fact, for many people, getting to a lecturer's office, going to see a lecturer personally, implies that you're going there cringing and shaking with fear because you don't know what to expect. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about some of the things that Nigerian lecturers and maybe lecturers in general, but I can talk more about the context that I'm familiar with, which is the Nigerian system. So some of the things that our lecturers need to stop doing in order to be effective. So if you're a lecturer, if you're in the university system or the polytechnic system, you might want to listen to this and pay attention. If you're a student as well, I want you to listen. I want you to add your own points. Let me know what you think in the comments. So remember, before I start, to subscribe to this channel, click on that subscribe button and you will be able to see more and more and more of my videos. My name is Olumide and I'll be back right after this timeout. So before I go into the list of the things that lecturers really need to stop, let me say something. That is, I have met a lot of Nigerian lecturers that I am truly proud of. I have met many lecturers, many professors, many PhD holders, many people within the Nigerian academic systems who are very versed in their fields, who are truly versatile, who are truly renowned, and who are assets to Nigeria and to the world at large. And so I think that we have a repository of people, of human capital, of some of the best people in the world within our academic systems. And I am truly proud of them. I believe that the country should be proud of them as well. I am making this video not because of those people, but because of some of the other ones who are dragging the system down through some of their habits and so through some behaviors that are not very student friendly. And such people, the ones I'm talking about now, are the ones responsible for giving the academic system in Nigeria a bad name. So just in case you think you're a fantastic lecturer, but you are someone who's also guilty of one of these things, then you might want to watch to be sure that you get it right. Okay, so let's get into that list. The first thing, like you might have guessed, is shouting at your students. Stop shouting at them. They are not animals. They are just students. Their only crime is that they are trying to learn from you. So stop shouting. Treat them like human beings. Treat them like you would treat your own children. And just by the way, I know a lot of us shout at our children, so maybe that's where the problem originates from. But stop shouting. Take it easy. Take time to explain things. Take time to talk to them like you're talking to regular, normal people, because that's what and that's who they are. When you shout at people, it actually just shows that you're uncivilized and you're barbaric. Stop shouting. The second one is very similar to that. Stop talking down on your students. Stop talking down on them. Don't insult them. Don't talk like they are morons, like they are foolish. No. Talk to them like you believe in them. So what do I mean by that? There's something called the Rosenthal effect or the Pygmalion effect, and you might have heard about it. What it basically implies is that people respond to how you treat them. So if you have a student and you expect that student to do well, there is a good chance that that student is going to do well. This is a documented scientific study. Someone actually did that, created that sense of expectation that certain students were going to be very good. And it turned out that those particular students became very good. They had great grades because there was that expectation. Basically, what I'm saying is if you expect the best from people, you're going to have the best from them. But if you keep telling them that they are foolish, that they are stupid, that they cannot amount to much, then that is what you're going to have. So stop talking down on people. Okay. Okay, number 3 is very similar to that. Stop marking your students down. Oh my God, this is one of the most prevalent problems in the Nigerian university system. We mark students down for any and every reason. And many times lecturers justify that by saying that that's the standard, that it's a very good standard. I've actually heard lecturers boasting that in their department nobody has ever had a first class, or nobody has ever graduated with first class honors. Honestly, that is ridiculous. And I think it is very bad, and I think it tells a lot about the people in that department. If you keep saying things like that and you're glorying in such ridiculous testimonies, then it shows that you're a very bad lecturer, you're a very poor communicator, you're a very ineffective teacher. That is what it shows. Why? Because if you're doing a good job, the proof of how good your job is should be that your students are doing well. And as an individual, you should be proud of such great results. Am I saying that we should start dashing students' marks and, upgrading them just to make it look like they're doing well? No, that is not what I am saying at all. But I am saying that if you're very good at what you do, one of the ways you would know that is that you're also doing your best to communicate properly to the students and to help them to attain their very best. And it would ultimately show in their results. So if you're saying that having a first class or second class upper honors is unattainable, then what you really are saying is that you're a very bad lecturer and you don't know your job. Of recent, there has been this argument about Covenant University. Recently, they released their graduation results and they said that they had over 200 first-class graduates. And I saw a lot of outrage that sparked online. People were saying, how can a school have over 200 first-class graduates? It shows that that school is producing mediocre graduates and their standards are not so high. No, I don't think so. It doesn't show that at all. It shows that they have value for their students, and it shows that they have lecturers who are effective. And I think that is what the case should be. We shouldn't judge ourselves by how many people have failed. We should rather think that we're great at what we do by how many people have succeeded at the work that we're training them to do. So don't dash people marks, don't give them scores they don't deserve, but at the same time, don't mark them down in the name of promoting a standard that doesn't exist. And remember what I said in the earlier point, the Rosenthal effect. If you expect people to do well, they will ultimately do well. If you create that sense of expectation that all the people in your class can graduate with first class honors, you're going to have a good number of them graduating with such, because they think so. So this mentality of washing people down and telling people that it is unattainable and that is what makes your university good is pure rubbish. It is ridiculous. Upon all the so-called standard we claim to have, how come we've not produced Nobel Prize winners? How come we have very few breakthrough discoveries? How come our research is not what it ought to be? The truth is, we're just deceiving ourselves. Another thing you must stop doing if you're a lecturer within the university or polytechnic or other academic system is stop going late for classes. If you get to your classes late, you're likely to tell your students, you're likely to send a message to them that they are not important. And you're also sending a message to them that there is no room for discipline, that things like punctuality are not important. So don't get to the class late and then behave like that's your right, like that's the right thing to do. No, get to class early, start your classes on time. Let students know that you are always punctual, because when they know that you are punctual, then they will also be punctual. I've heard many lecturers who do the ridiculous thing of asking the class rep to come over to call them when it is time for lectures or when the class is ready or stuff like that. No, that's very ridiculous. The class rep was not the one employed by the school. You as the lecturer were employed by the school. So if you are a member of staff, it is your responsibility to note the time for your classes and to ensure that you get there on time. Yet another one is forcing students to buy handouts. What that shows is that you have no ethics, you have no integrity. If you have to force students to purchase your handouts so that they can pass or so that they can do well, then you are just milking them. The ideal thing is if you have materials that you feel are of very good quality and you think that students should have them, either you give them for free or you publish into a book, submit to your department, and then the department can add to the list of recommended materials. That way it becomes official. Students are able to plan their expenses and they are not being milked just to buy your product. A lot of federal and state universities, particularly the state-owned universities, are guilty of this. Making handouts, pushing it on people, and then even allotting grades based on who bought the handout or not. Honestly, it is robbery. It is daylight robbery. And you have no right to criticize the politicians and to criticize the people who are spoiling the country if you are also doing so, because by so doing, you are just as bad as those corrupt leaders out there. Yet another one that I must mention is setting exact wording questions. So a lot of lecturers would set exams, and in those exams, they more or less expect you to regurgitate exactly what they said. In fact, I've come across lecturers who would tell you that you must bring it out the way I gave it to you. They would dictate notes in class, and then they would say you must repeat it that way. If you don't give it to me the way I gave it to you, then you are going to fail. And all of that. And they think they are doing a good job. No, they are not. The test of knowledge should be that a student is able to express things in his or her own words and is able to show understanding. The test of knowledge is not the ability to cram and pour. The test of knowledge is not the ability to quote, except for certain kinds of things. In some situations, quotations are allowed, maybe for some definitions according to how a particular person said it or stuff like that. But generally speaking, the test of knowledge is the ability to use one's mind and to bring out the same information or even better information that has been properly processed. The ability to show that and bring that out in the examination results. I think that is what you should be looking out for as a lecturer, not just the ability to quote verbatim. So don't set your exams in ways that put the student in a situation where he has to cram everything. Rather, test understanding. I'm sure you know that in real life, most of those formulas and things that we crammed in school are not relevant. In real life, I can do a Google search. In real life, I can talk to other people. In real life, there are many options open to the student or the learner. And so what that means is what we really should be testing is what is up here. How well can that person process, use, and display understanding of that information? Yet another one is acting like you know it all. That is something that a lot of lecturers do. They believe that they have to be the authority, and so they have to behave as if they know all about that subject matter. No, it is not true. You don't know everything. Nobody on earth has information about every single thing. There is no authority on earth on a particular subject matter that can provide all the answers. And so what that means is it's okay to say you don't know. It's okay to say you don't know the answer to a question. It's okay to encourage people to do further research. It's okay to tell them to do a Google search. It's okay to tell them to find out. It's okay to stimulate conversation, to stimulate the right questions, and to get everybody learning. Why? Because even as the teacher, even as the lecturer, you also should be learning in the process. So it's okay to admit that you don't know. Giving an atmosphere of I'm the only authority at this, I'm the best at this, and all of that is what discourages learning. And oftentimes when you check out such lecturers, you find out that in many things they fall short. So make sure you are not that kind of person. You don't know it all. And one last point I would like to raise is respect for the personal spaces of your students. I've met a number of lecturers who infringe on the privacy or on the personal spaces of their students, and sometimes they don't even know. So imagine a male lecturer who is, touching a female student inappropriately, who's being close in an inappropriate manner, who's cracking certain distasteful jokes. Sometimes you see those things and you know that the lecturer thinks it's okay. The person doesn't think he's committing a crime. After all, he's not sleeping with the girl and has no intentions to do so. So he doesn't think it's a crime. He thinks he's just being playful. But it is disrespect for that student. So as a lecturer, you have to bear in mind that you're dealing with human beings who are also maybe adults in their own right, and they need their personal space. They need that interpersonal respect. So basically, regardless of the gender, male or female, talk to the students with respect and allow a respectful amount of space. Make sure that your actions are not things that can be interpreted as harassment and cannot be interpreted as making a student feel uncomfortable in your presence. I'm sure I don't need to add that as a lecturer, you shouldn't be sleeping with your students in the name of giving them better grades. I'm sure you know that that is a criminal offense. I'm sure that you're familiar with some of the stories and some of the investigations that have been revealed in the past, and how some professors, renowned people, ended up in jail for such shabby and distasteful practices. So you definitely should not be sleeping with your students, whether they are male or female. You definitely should not be doing that, and you shouldn't be promising them grades for such actions. You shouldn't be close to that at all. But I'm sure you already knew that. So I think this is a convenient point to end this video. Make sure that you let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure that if you're a student, you add your own, add yours to the list. I'm sure that a lot of lecturers are going to check this out and they want to know what you really think. And like I said, if you're one of those lecturers out there who's doing a beautiful job, who's training the future, and who's putting your heart and your might and your soul into it, into raising the next generation of people, kudos, well done. This video is about the other people that are not helping us or that are not making us see the impact of the work that great people like you are doing. So anyway, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you look out for more of my videos. I post on education, on entrepreneurship, and I post about opportunities and inspirational content as well. My name is Olumide Adeleye, and I look forward to seeing you in the very next video. Have a beautiful day.